the illegal and dangerous airstrikes on Syria conducted by the US, UK, and France on April 13th, and the support given to these attacks by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Be it further resolved that the Hamilton District Labour Council make its views known in a letter to the Prime Minister, Global Affairs Minister, Minister of Defence, all local MPs, all affiliates, and the local news media. This resolution had been turned down by the Labour Council Executive the evening before, but three speakers got up on the floor and introduced this resolution from the floor. There were only three speakers, and they were all for the resolution. No one spoke against this resolution. This resolution was carried unanimously at the Hamilton District Labour Council. Brothers and sisters, I think we could take this resolution. I have copies of it in my pocket. You will find it on the Facebook page of the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War. And take this into our trade unions, into our student unions, into our churches, into all kinds of public organizations with which we are connected. This is Canadian news, and these are Canadian issues. We have to be bolder, I think, than we've been in the past, brothers and sisters. We have to up our game on Syria. Thank you. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the rogue states that launched the attack on Syria a week ago on the 13th, demonstrating to the entire world that they had absolutely not a shred of evidence of any chemical weapons in Douma, they're upping their aggression against Syria. They have lost their proxy war that they launched on Syria 7 years ago. And they are now moving to a higher level and more dangerous level of struggle. I personally would like to pay homage to the courage and sacrifice of the Syrian Arab Army. The Syrian Arab Army lost 600 fighters liberating Douma. And we should think about that. They did that. They took the time to liberate Douma street by street and neighborhood by neighborhood. Unlike the U.S., which goes and bombs Raqqa until it's destroyed, and Mosul and laid it flat, those cities are uninhabitable. But refugees have already streamed back into Douma, and that's thanks to the sacrifice and courage of the Syrian Arab Army. I would also like to pay tribute to the governments of Russia, Iran, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Palestinian militias who have made the victory against the Western proxy war using terrorist mercenaries against Syria. They have made it an abject failure. That war is finished. As we speak, the Syrian Arab Army today is moving into Yarmouk to take back Yarmouk from the terrorists. The previous speaker mentioned that the new level of aggression against Syria is now taking the form of partition, an attempt at partition. I won't repeat everything he said, but the things he didn't mention are, it's not just the United States that's sitting on the eastern third of Syria. We also have Turkey invading from the north. Shame. And Israel moving out eastward from the illegally occupied Golan Heights. Shame. This cabal of neo-colonial powers should be condemned by everybody in the world. Did they come and ask the Syrian people if they wanted the country to be partitioned? No. Did anybody ask them to be the police of the world? No. Did they take a vote of anybody, even in their own countries, before they did this? No. I say, brothers and sisters, it's illegal, it's immoral, it's outrageous, and now we have to up the ante, up our struggle in order to counter this latest aggression. At the beginning of the war, brothers and sisters, there was a phony human rights campaign which was sold to the world through the mainstream media and governments. We were told that what was going on in Syria in 2011 was a revolution, a popular uprising, a civil war, and that President Assad was a brutal dictator, and therefore they had to support moderate Syrian rebels to replace Assad. Unfortunately, many people in Canada were taken in by these lies, and they didn't join us in the past when we demonstrated against the Western aggression against Syria. But the contrasts are much starker now. And I think that people around the world can see these contrasts. After 17 years of permanent war, working people are increasingly fed up with the wars, the never-ending war, and the fact that we are being made to pay for it by cuts in our social programs. In the UK, a poll was taken last week, and it showed that only 22% of the people supported Theresa May's attack on Syria. 44% of the people were against it. There were twice as many people in England who opposed the attacks than supported Theresa May.
Where's the democracy?
Exactly. Where is the democracy? I think ordinary people around the world, here in Canada and around the world, are open to the idea of a political solution in Syria, rather than a never-ending war. A political solution where the people of Syria have the determination of their own future without foreign interference. So I think this is the time to take a leaf from those delegates at the Labour Council and become bolder in our approach. When Trudeau cries about chemical weapons in Syria, we should be visiting his MPs and saying, why are you paying for the white helmets? Just last week, 2 weeks ago, your tax dollars, through your tax dollars, the Canadian Parliament invited a large delegation of the white helmets to Ottawa and had them in front of a committee that was chaired by Liberal MPs. I say shame on them. It's these white helmets who are the people who go in and they fabricate these phony chemical incidents in order to create a pretext for the rogue states to come in and bomb Syria. Shame on them. When the newspapers denounce Bashar al-Assad as a dictator, we should be writing letters to the editors saying, no, look at the videos that came out of Eastern Ghouta. We see all the people running away from the terrorists and running into the arms of the Syrian Arab army. If he was such a bloody dictator, would they do that?
No.
And we see all the people crowding around Bashar al-Assad, adoring him because he is their liberator from the clutches of these terrorists. Thank you, sisters. Bashar al-Assad is the most popular man in Syria. And I'm not making this up. Western political polls that were taken in the Middle East show that not only is the most popular man in Syria, he is the most popular political leader in the entire Middle East. And when the mainstream media goes on and tells us that Syria is a repressive society, we should go on to social media and say, if it's such a repressive society, how come they have free post-secondary education? Don't have it in Canada. How about, why do they have free Medicare? Why do they promote equality for women? Guarantee freedom of religion? Is this a repressive society?
No!
I don't think so. I think we need to be more positive about Syria, because as the Western powers become more reckless in their actions, inevitably losing the game in Syria, they threaten the whole of humanity. Russian Admiral Komiedov, commenting on the recent Western military attacks, noted that humanity was just, and I quote, millimeters from a global war on April 13th. Fortunately, cool heads prevailed in Moscow, and the Russians did not retaliate this time against the most recent aggression against Syria. President Putin, however, noted that further Western strikes would lead to chaos in international relations. And that brings me to this point. The international order was created over hundreds of years in which wars were tried to be averted using the principles of international law. International law is based on the respect for national sovereignty. It's based on non-interference in the internal affairs of other countries. It's based on territorial integrity. These are all the things that Syria wants and needs. And if this system were to be overturned, as President Putin is talking about, then we would revert to a system where only might is right. In conclusion, I would like to say that Syria's struggle for survival mirrors the struggle of survival of all of humanity. So, I would say that Syria's fight is our fight. It's the fight of all humanity. Hands off Syria, long live Syria!